on the saddle at the moment. Now I want to get you sitting in the saddle so that your seat bones are in the deepest part of the saddle. And what we're going to do is this. I'm coming round in front of you, and I'm taking your knees and I'm lifting them up, and now you can take hold of the saddle with your hands and lift yourself right forward. That's it. And even a little bit further forward, so that you might think that that was too far forward. But we'll be all right, because I just let your legs go so, and I just then come and I just take your hips and I just bring you a tiny little bit further back on your seat bones, and I think you're all right there, aren't you? That's quite comfortable. Now, having got you into the deepest part of the saddle, we're now ready to start work. And the first thing I do is I come round and I take one leg and I take the hamstrings under the knees with my fingers, and I lengthen the hamstrings. And you let me lengthen the hamstrings, you let the leg free like that. Now the hamstrings, of course, are attached to the seat bones, so that as I draw her knee towards me, I'm encouraging this right seat bone to come a little further forward in the saddle, a little bit more underneath her. And there we've got excellent lengthening there, and the leg is free. I put my hand underneath, so I turn the leg from the hip joint, and it goes down quite elegantly there beside the saddle. I now come and I do exactly the same as the other leg, and again it's the hamstrings. That's it. From the seat bone, drawing the seat bone underneath, lengthening the thigh, and so, and continuing to keep the length. I turn the thigh and the leg goes so. Now, gravity will take care of the legs now. We're not interested in the legs. Now, the next thing then that I've got to do, quite simply, is to come round to the back. And for this purpose, I think if you could help me, we could just turn her round. I think you would just slide her round. Yes, that's right. I think she'll slide all without any trouble. Right round, more. That's right. You can see there all that, can't you?
Lovely.
Now, what we do now is, having got the legs so, I now come and I put my hands on the crest of the pelvis, and I put my thumbs actually on the sacrum. And what I'm going to do, Lou, now is I'm going to press there. I'm using quite a bit of weight, and you're letting your legs go freely, you're letting your seat go, and I'm really pressing her seat bones down into the saddle. Right. And now, I think if we could move her again, if you could just move her a little bit that way, just a little bit more that way. There we are. That'll do splendidly. And now, Lou, all you're going to do now is you're going to think of letting your hip go forward and up, and you're just going to come back from the hip joints to my back here. There you are. There we go. There you go. There you go. You see, as you come back there, That's it. We get more lengthening there. And you see, just allow me to move you there now. There you are. That is now very free. We've got her organized on her seat bones. We've got the whole of the torso lengthening and widening, her hips going forward enough, and that's very nice. And the legs, you see, the legs don't come into it. Now, the origin of this was, we had a little girl years ago who got spina bifida, and consequently she couldn't stand or use her legs. And in order to work with her, we found that if we could sit her on a toy donkey, she could sit rather like this, and then we could work on her in a similar sort of way.
Was it Alexander, in the time of Alexander?
This was after the little girl had come to Alexander, but we had started to work on her in this way after Alexander died. And as she grew, we found that it was necessary to get something larger, so we had a wooden trestle made to continue to work in the same way. And then somebody suggested that if we were going to use a trestle, why not use a saddle, because saddles are made for that purpose. Mm-hmm. So that's how we came to get the saddle, because of course the saddle does give the proper support to the seat bones, and then you can get just what I've demonstrated. And we find nowadays that this is a very good thing for people who've got leg problems, we can get more lengthening of the leg, more freedom of the hip joints, freedom of the knees, freedom of the ankles in this way than we can even working on them lying down. Mm-hmm. It's very, very good from that point of view. And of course, for people who are riders, or people who want to ride, if you can do some of this work with them before they get on a horse, you've got 50% of the problem solved before you begin. Mm-hmm. So we have found this extremely valuable.